So, it's almost that special time of year again. You know the one. The flowers, the chocolates, the jewelry. But what if you want to do something a little different this year? You know, show off your creative side. Well, I have a couple of Valentine's Day DIY ideas for you if you want to decorate the house or just have some fun with the kids. So let's get started with the candy bouquet. These candy flowers make a great decoration for the dining room table or in the kitchen, plus they're a lot of fun for the kids. So here's what you'll need. Start off with your styrofoam pieces. You can cut them into whatever shape you want. I stuck with hearts and circles. And you're going to want to paint the styrofoam with craft paint. I used a Sharpie paint pen just so it's a little less messy and it dries faster. To stick the candies on, you're going to need a hot glue gun or Elmer's glue. Now this gets a little messy and it takes longer to dry, but it's also safer for the kids. You can use whatever kind of candies you want. There's a lot to choose from around this time of year. I stuck with Valentine's Day colors and I used Red Hots, M&Ms, and gumdrops, but again, you can use whatever you like. For this one, I'm just going to use the Red Hots. I've already painted my styrofoam and let it dry, so now I can start gluing on the Red Hots with a hot glue gun. Make sure you only do a few at a time. That way the glue doesn't dry on you before you're done sticking them. It's that easy. I already finished the outside and now I just need to fill in the center and the edges and I'll be good to go. So as you can see, I'm almost done. This literally took me less than 5 minutes and it's looking pretty good. So now that I'm done putting the candies on, I'm going to take my floral stem wire, which I already cut down to the size that I want, and I'm going to just stick it into the styrofoam. And you can use a decorative box like I did, or a vase, and when I put a little piece of styrofoam in the bottom so that these stick in nice. Slide your candy flowers in and arrange your bouquet however you want, and ta-da! You're finished! So now that we're done with our candy flower bouquet, I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful paper roses. You can use construction paper or printer paper, whatever you have on hand is fine. They're really simple, so here's how you do it. To get started, you'll want to cut 6 even-sized squares out of your paper, and make sure to save some scrap paper. We'll be using that later for the bottom of the flower. Each square is going to serve as a different layer of the petals on the rose. Each of the 6 squares is going to be folded and cut exactly the same way. First, fold the square in half. And then you're going to want to fold the sides down diagonally. Try to make them to where they can fold as equally as possible to make this point at the end. Then take your scissors and cut a teardrop shape. Make sure you cut under the fold lines. After you cut the teardrop, make sure you cut off the tip of the point. When you open it up, look like a flat flower. So now that we have the right shape, I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of them exactly the same way. All of the flowers cut, we're going to curl each of the petals under to give it that look like it's blooming. To curl the petals under, I use a paper clip because that's what's easiest for me, but you can use a pen or your fingers, whatever works best for you. Just make sure that the petals are all curled in the same direction. When you're done curling the petals, they should all curl down like this. You're going to separate them out because we're going to cut petals off of each of the flowers to make the different layers. You'll leave one as it is. 2 of them will have 1 petal cut out, 2 will have 2 petals cut out, and 1 will just be cut in half. Let's get started with the first. We'll just cut 1 petal out. Do that for both. We'll want to set these aside. Then we'll cut 2 out. Set these aside too. Don't throw these away, we'll be using them. And then on the last one, cut it right in half. 3 petals. Take each of the rings that you've cut a petal out of and glue the sides together. This will make it smaller and give it that flower shape. Don't use the individual petals, we'll use those later, but for now, just start gluing all of your rings together. Make sure all the curled edges are pointing down when you glue them together because it gives it that flower shape. While all of your petals are drying, go ahead and take that scrap piece of paper and cut a small circle. This is going to be the bottom of your flower. When you have your circle, go ahead and glue it to the bottom of the biggest piece. Now that we have all of the layers ready, we can go ahead and start putting them together. I like to use a hot glue gun for this step instead of the glue stick because it helps secure the layers and it dries a lot faster. Make sure you're alternating the petals so that they get that layered look. Now that we have all the layers glued together, take the individual petals that we set aside earlier and glue them together. The reason you set these aside is because you never know what size you're going to need to fit into the center of the rose. The first one gets glued on itself, just like the others. And the second one gets rolled. So you can have that center of the flower look. I just want to put a little bit of glue on the outside. After that, you can hot glue those in, and then you're done. And voila, you're finished. Easy peasy, right? These make great decorations for around the house on Valentine's Day. So now that you have a couple of ideas, feel free to make them your own. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments section below. Happy crafting and happy Valentine's Day from Offers.com.